So here I just kind of threw a couple of stuff together compared or following my last demo. And so now anytime that you have stuff on the page, dip your computer screens and turn your earphones off, please. Or whatever they're called. Thank you. So now on any of these shapes, on any sort of layer, I can even say, let me go to my background here and I'll dump a different color. How about pink? There we go. Look at that. Pastel colors. Now I can take any of these shapes. Let's take the Pac-Man shape here. And I can double click on that layer. And now I have my layer style window open. Let me pull this over here. And now I can, there's all sorts of options that I can click on. And so I can have a drop shadow. You'll see how that drop shadow falls right below there. And, you know, in this I can adjust what I want, you know, how I want this to look. There's so many different options I can do for that. And yeah, I guess I don't know if I could be able to change the color a little bit. I'm not sure. And okay, so those are some options. And okay, here's the different color. I could make it have like a red shadow. There we go.
Oh.
So once I click on that option, if I do an inner shadow, you'll notice it almost looks as though it's cut out of there now. And again, I can adjust the color of that shadow and also the angle that it comes at if I want it to look as though it's coming out from either side, sort of thing. Outer glow is going to have almost like it's like got a feathered edge. And so again, you know, a lot of these sliders really matter.
Oh gosh, no.
So it's really glowing now. And I can adjust the color of that glow if I want them to be like a yellowish glow. Can't really tell the difference on that one. Inner glow is going to do just the opposite. And so again, if I adjust the size, you might be able to see that a little bit more.
Yeah, he looks like a jelly bean.
Bevel and emboss is going to make it look as though it's kind of got a bas relief kind of sticking out from the background. And both of these have an option. So I have contour, almost giving it like a plastic-like edge, or a texture. This one's kind of fun to play around with because up here I can click different sort of patterns and textures that I can make that be like. This one might be really fun to play around with. That's under texture. I can give it a satin look. This one, it gets a little tricky because if you have something else selected and you're still like selected up here, but you click on satin, you gotta wait for that blue to be highlighting in order to see all the options that you have there. Okay. Color overlay. I don't really know much about this, I'll be honest. If you guys figured out, let me know. Gradient, here's where I can make any of my shapes be a gradient. So again, I can click on here, I can adjust the gradient along with the different colors. I can make them into my own if I want, and so forth. There's my tie-dye sort of Pac-Man. Pattern overlay is going to give you, again, different patterns, but it's not going to have the color that it does. It'll automatically bring it to the color of the pattern preset. And it looks like you can even adjust making that be larger or smaller, especially probably with the texture. This one would be interesting. So like scale, make that be smaller or larger. Cool. And then finally a stroke. If you want your color to have a stroke on it, this is the way that you'd have to do it, and then you can adjust the stroke on there. All of these things work exactly the same. Like say if we were to go on to our text, you get all those same options. I can make it have a drop shadow. I can make it have a texture. Click on that there. scale will be down. So there's all sorts of cool things that you can do with that. So why don't you take what you have on your screen right now and double click on those layers and play around with the layer style. And it's cool because it records the different effects that you have applied to it as well. And so you can always double click in here and then click those off if you want something else or change them up.